In 2012, Facebook conducted a psychology experiment on practically 700,000 users. According to BBC News, the research was done to gauge if exposure to emotions led people to change their own posting behaviors. Facebook manipulated users' emotional states for over 1 week. According to a 2014 article by Gregory McNeil in Forbes, they tweaked what show up on users' news feeds to make them feel bad or good. The study found that people who have fewer negative stories in their news feeds are less likely to write a negative post, but users weren't happy with Facebook. Psychological experiments are intriguing and important for the understandings of human mind's behavior. With that, we can better understand why people around you act the way they do. First, we're going to step in a lab and do our first experiments on monkeys. Then we'll take a further step in experiments on adults. Lastly, we do psychological experiments on kids. Now we have stepped into the lab. We're going to experiment on monkeys for the reasons of monkeys being a close relative of human, but not exactly doing experiments on human. According to an article by Dr. Saul McLeod, published in 2020 for the website Simply Psychology, Carlos Rees's monkey experiment's goal was to study the effect and natural attachments of monkeys who were deprived of their mother in their early life. Infant monkeys were placed in cages with 2 surrogate mothers, as shown here. The wild mother has milk, while the cloth mother has none. The researcher found that they spend more time with the cloth mother, even though it has no food. If a finding object was placed in a cage, the monkey would take sanctuary with the cloth mother. According to an article by Kendra Cherry from Very Well Mind, published in 2020, the study is significant because it revealed that caregivers' love plays a key role in healthy childhood development, showing that comfort and meeting our emotional needs are just as important as physical needs. The other monkey experiment is the pet of despair. From the information of an article by Tom Held, published in 2021 from iFeel Science, its purpose was to use animal models to study depression and find treatments. For a 2021 article from Exploring Your Minds, monkeys were shut into cages for 30 days to a year, where they had no contact with the world. After they were let out, they just sat there, doing nothing in despair. Those who have been isolated in a cage the longest lost their ability to socialize. The study is meant for us to understand that intimacy and sense of connection are important for everyone. Overall, the 2 studies show that we humans need to meet our emotional needs and intimacy to stay mentally healthy. Next, we'll take a further step in experiments on adults. It can better help us understand the behaviors of humans. Coming up first, the Stanford Prison Experiment. The Stanford Prison Experiment was done to whether the brutality reports of guards in American prison was due to the sadistic personality or had to do with the environment of the prison. According to an article by Dr. Saul McLeod, published in 2020 from Simply Psychology, the guards were instructed to do whatever it takes to maintain enforcement. Within a short period of time, the guards began to harass and physically punish prisoners. After the prisoner rebellion broke out, the guards were firmly in control, and prisoners depended on them, making the guards more derisive toward them. In less than 36 hours, prisoners suffered acute emotional disturbance and uncontrollable sobbing. The Stanford Prison Experiment sure ran for 2 weeks, but was terminated on the 6th day due to emotional breakdowns of prisoners and excessive aggression of guards. The experiment is significant. It shows us that people will comply with the social role that they are expected to play. The Rosenhan experiment was administered on the idea of David Rosenhan, that insanity and sanity aren't that different from each other. According to the website Study Smarter, the purpose of the study was to investigate if we can rely on staff in psychiatric hospitals to distinguish between the sane and insane. 5 men, including himself, and 3 women that had no mental health problem, participated. As the participants were interviewed by the clinicians, they all reported that they heard voices, a common symptom of schizophrenia. That's the only symptom they reported. They answered all other questions truthfully. One symptom was enough to be admitted to hospital at that time. Once admitted, they all stopped lying about hearing voices and all act normal. It's notable that the clinicians were unable to distinguish between the sane and insane. Finally, one of the last sections of our study, psychological experiments on kids. The Little Albert experiment was tested on a 9-month-old boy. According to the article by Kendra Cherry, published in 2022 from the website Studies Very Well Mind, the child was exposed to a series of stimuli, with researchers observing the boy's reaction. Albert showed no sign of fear. Next time, the researcher presented a rat simultaneously with a loud noise. Naturally, Albert began to cry. After the continuous association with the white rat and loud noise, Albert simply wouldn't cry when the rat wasn't present. His fear also included anything that's furry. The study showed that humans can be classically conditioned to have emotional responses such as phobia. The next experiment is the bulldog experiment. According to the article from Dr. Saul McCall, published in 2023 in Simply Psychology, it was tested on 36 girls and 36 boys between the ages of 3 to 6. Researchers observed the children and separated them into 3 groups. The first group of children watched the female with male model behaving aggressively toward a toy. The second group was shown a non-aggressive model playing in a subdued manner. The third group is the control group. The result was a child was exposed to an aggressive model made more responses of imitative aggression than those who were in the 2 other groups. What's so significant about the study is that we learned that children can learn social behavior just by observing another person. The 2 studies show that humans can be classically conditioned to fear something, and children can imitate a behavior from another person. We have reached the final end. Now we're going to gather all the information and data. The psychological experiments on monkeys reveal to us that comfort and meeting our emotional needs are just as important as physical needs. It also shows us that we need intimacy and sense of connection to stay mentally healthy. The Stanford experiment demonstrates that people will comply to social role that they're expected to play. The Rosenhan studies point out that the clinicians were unable to distinguish between the sane and the insane. The last 2 experiments on kids reveal to us that humans can be classically conditioned to have phobia, and children can learn social behavior just by observing another person. Even though most of these experiments are cruel, they're still impactful. Psychological experiments are intriguing and important for the understandings of human mind's behavior. Like the Facebook experiment, most of these experiments are unethical, but there are still plenty of good ethical and impactful experiments out there.